Regarding the importance of student research, in my opinion, I think student research is the best way to facilitate student learning. You get a student that is interested in a topic, interested in some sort of question, and then they go through the process of trying to figure out either an explanation or an answer to that question. And so they are driven to learn the research process, the learning process, and really what works best for them. And so to me, that just, they've got to come to that conclusion and be satisfied with that answer. And I think when you see a student that has found something they're interested in and is happy with their explanation or their answer to that question, certainly describes the value of student research, and no better way lends itself to the optimal student learning.
So this is my first semester doing research, but the reason I've decided to do research this semester is because I really wanted to get a hands-on feel for what the real chemistry world was like outside of the classroom and what people do when they're doing research in chemistry. And I also wanted to help our professors here at Augusta State make a difference in the world around us and hopefully find a way to get rid of some of these diseases that are out there.
This prepares them for life beyond the classroom, because when you leave ASU, you're not going to go take a test. You're going to be asked to work by your employer. You're going to be asked to produce results. You're going to be asked to work with your hands as a chemist. You're not going to be asked to take a test. It doesn't mean the foundation is not as important. It's hugely important. But at the same time, using that foundation and seeing the relevance of it and putting it to use, I think, is a very important skill that we can use to hook the students in, to make it more interesting, to build faculty-student interactions, and ultimately make the undergraduate experience more rewarding for them and more relevant.
Research provides a good opportunity for you to see if you're interested in the field. It provides you direction after you graduate, or if you really want to be in that field when you graduate. Better to decide now than later.
Student research is an important part of the teaching that I do because it helps students master not only a certain amount of content, but to learn how to go out and acquire other kinds of content and acquire other kinds of knowledge than that just handed to them by a book or by a professor. When they're doing research, they're actually working with primary sources, if they're doing the journalism history work that I do, or if we're working in the area of testing a public relations theory of some sort, they're working with human beings, and they can learn a whole lot about how various people respond to different situations. So they're learning things that just can't be taught in a traditional classroom when they're doing research. And I think that that's important because it teaches them different ways of thinking and different ways of understanding. And the more ways you know how to understand and think, the better off you're going to be in the world today. I think that the Phi Kappa Phi Research Conference is an important component of student research here at Augusta State because it does give us the opportunity to showcase really good work done by our students. One of the frustrations of being a student, I think, is you've got this 20-page term paper due at the end of the year, and who reads it? One professor, and that's it. So you've got hours and hours and hours of work done with an audience of one. The student research conference that Phi Kappa Phi sponsors each year gives you a much broader audience that you can take your work to and show it off a little bit, and professors can show off what they're doing in the class and what their students have been able to do even beyond them, because that's how you know you've succeeded as a teacher, when your students can go out and become independent learners. That's really where you're trying to take them.
Student research is important to me. I was always good at book work, but as far as lab work, I wasn't the best. So I got into student research really to get better at lab work, and then I realized when I was in it that it was the funnest thing I've ever done, and I got addicted to it pretty much. And now I find it important because everybody uses it in everyday life. Every drug synthesis you'll ever see, use it in biology labs to find any kind of cure you need. I mean, it's important in all aspects of life, and it just it's fun to be a part of that.
Well, the main thing it does is prevents students from reinventing the flat tire because it leads to good knowledge. Well, good knowledge is objective. It's not subject to the idiosyncrasies of the individual. Any good student needs to do research to accurately and systematically collect data to answer a question or to analyze and attack a problem, and then to systematically communicate and defend the position that he or she comes to. It's simple, but it's very, very important.